YouTube, Justin, Finest Listography, episode number 2. Of course, my first episode of Finest Listography, I talked about my top 10 favorite YouTube subscriptions. This episode, gonna go a little bit higher for you to overcompensate because my dick is very small. Today we're gonna be giving you a top 20 list, and this is my top 20 most watched television shows of all time. Before I get into the actual top 20 list, I want to take the time to mention a couple that didn't make the list. These are some honorable mentions, I suppose. The Daily Show, The Colbert Report, Frasier, Third Rock from the Sun, Sanford and Son, Alf, Dinosaurs, Everybody Loves Raymond. These are shows that I did watch and I actually spent a decent amount of time with, just weren't quite enough to make the top 20 list. So this is all time. This is since I started watching television about 3 days after I came out of my mom. Clearly, if you take a look at my robust physique, I clearly spend quite a bit of time in front of the television. Start at number 20 with Family Matters, and this is for absolutely no other reason than Uncle Carl Winslow, one of the greatest father characters in all of television, as well as, of course, the incomparable, immortal Steve Urkel. Number 19 is Reboot. This was a CGI-based animated show, showed on YTV in Canada. Just a really funny and interesting and just entertaining show about life inside of a computer mainframe. Number 18, That 70s Show. Of course, again, another great father character on this show, Red Foreman. Very funny. I actually almost played Red Foreman in a That 70s Show skit in high school. Number 17, King of the Hill, a criminally underrated animated show on Fox. I think it lived in the shadow of The Simpsons, and that's why it was never rightfully given the sort of respect that it deserved as its own show. Number 16, The Nanny, surprisingly, starring Fran Drescher. No idea why. I can't tell you why, but at the time I obviously thought it was quite funny. Number 15 is Undergrads, another criminally underrated animated show, canceled long before its time. Undergrads talked about life for these 4 high school best friends as they go into their first full year of college, and it was very, very funny. Every episode in the one season that they did was just great. Bring back Undergrads. There's a lot of petitions online that you can sign to bring Undergrads back. Number 14 is Roseanne, of course starring Roseanne. Roseanne, John Goodman, the ultimate dysfunctional family. With Roseanne and Dan and their 3 kids, and Roseanne's sister and her mother, and just everybody in this show is dysfunctional, and yet somehow that's what kind of keeps the family together. So it's a very, very, very funny show. Number 13, All in the Family. Once again, Archie Bunker, one of the greatest TV show characters of all time. The show broke a lot of barriers when it first debuted, and throughout the entire run of the series broke a lot of racial barriers, stereotypical barriers, during a time when there were a lot of them in America. Number 12, Jerry Springer. You know what? Jerry has been doing the dirty since day one on his TV show, and he hasn't changed his show really even a little bit. If anything, it's gotten raunchier as the years have gone on. But whenever you need a laugh and whenever you need to feel better about yourself, all you got to do is watch an episode of Springer. Number 11, Corner Gas, another criminally underrated sitcom. This one based in small town, pretty well smallest town you can possibly imagine, Dog River, Saskatchewan. This is Brent Butt's vehicle and brainchild. A very, very, very funny show. A great supporting cast. Really memorable characters. If you haven't had the opportunity to ever watch Corner Gas, just download a season of it. Give it one season, and I guarantee you'll watch the rest of the show. Number 10, CSI Vegas, the original CSI, the only good CSI that they've ever put out. The other incarnations of CSI, you know what? It just doesn't have the feel and the aesthetic of the original CSI. It doesn't have your Gil Grissom character in it. It doesn't have a character that can captivate the way that Gil Grissom can. Number 9 is Friends. They had quite a few great seasons together. Friends is a show that I never really paid much attention to while it was in its original run, and that'll sort of become a bit of a theme as we get into some of the other shows here. The more I got to think about what was going on in Friends, the more I came to appreciate it. Plus, Andrea wouldn't be happy with me if I wouldn't have become a fan of Friends. And number 8 is Family Guy, and this is one that's actually gone in the opposite direction. If I did a favorite TV show list maybe 3 years ago, it would have been way up there. I've kind of fallen flat on Family Guy, but I certainly can't poo-poo the amount of time that I've spent watching episodes of Family Guy. Number 7, South Park. This is a show that does still have the oomph in it for me. It's still one of the smartest shows on television. Filthy, filthy show, but it still holds up. And like original early season episodes still hold up to me as some of my favorite TV episodes of all time. Number 6 is Trailer Park Boys, the little Canadian show that could. Really, really broke out in the American market, and there were a lot of Trailer Park Boys fans in America. Just a filthy, foul-mouthed show. Ricky, Julian, and Bubbles filmed in various spots in Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, and some of the later episodes down in Maine. Spawned 2 movies. I love Trailer Park Boys. I've watched the entire series, beginning to end, multiple times. Even though it's only 7 seasons, I've watched every episode so many times, and they still all hold up. You gotta love Trailer Park Boys. Number 5 is Seinfeld, and there's another show that I really didn't appreciate and I didn't pay any attention to during its heyday, during its big run. But now that I've sort of, again, grown in my understanding of the world and the context of the time, I go back and I watch Seinfeld now. I watch Seinfeld all the time now. Pretty well anytime it's on TV, my TV is on and tuned to Seinfeld. It's just a show that I wish I would have paid more attention to during its heyday. At number 4, Star Trek The Next Generation. Star Trek The Next Generation, I spent countless hours as a kid watching the episodes. I still watch old episodes now. I watch them daily. The crew of the Enterprise is the best crew that they've put in any of the Star Trek series. The best captain. I felt like they had the best enemies. Everything that The Next Generation did, they did right. For me, anyways. And that's why I spent so much time watching it. Number 3 is TSN Sports Desk / Sports Center. It changed to Sports Center when TSN was purchased by ESPN. Ever since I've been watching TV, I've been watching Sports Desk and Sports Center. I will fall asleep with that shit on, and I will wake up, and somehow I will know exactly what happened overnight. Number 2, WWE Monday Night Raw, that they advertise as the longest running weekly episodic television show in history. Monday Night Raw, I think I started watching Raw in '97. That's when it had been on for 4 years, I believe. I think it started in '93. And since '97, I think maybe I've missed 20 episodes. So you're talking 20 episodes in 15 years. I love me some pro wrestling. I love Monday Night Raw. It is scripted. It's the soap opera that's socially acceptable for men to watch. And that's why I love it. And my number one most watched television show of all time is The Simpsons. The Simpsons came on 26 times a day if you had a decent cable package. Kind of a funny story about The Simpsons. I had a streak there for about 4 or 5 years where I could... Literally, I would wake up and I would think of or say a line from The Simpsons, and almost inevitably, every single day, the episode that contained that line would play on television. I don't know if it was subconscious or if I'm psychic. I don't know which. It kind of freaked me out, but maybe it goes to show just how much I did watch The Simpsons. Maybe I had their TV schedule so down pat subconsciously in my brain that I just knew what next episode would be playing. So The Simpsons most definitely takes number 1. Finest Listography, Episode 2, my top 20 most watched TV shows of all time. I know what you're thinking. Holy crap, Justin, 15 of those were sitcoms. I am the Sultan of sitcoms, I guess. Peace.